God's chosen one. Get ready, God is about to prove his truth through your life. There are moments in life when everything seems to go silent. God is silent. The doors close, friends distance themselves, and all that's left is you, alone, trying to understand why it seems like heaven has gone silent. But what you haven't realized yet is that God's silence is never empty. God's silence is the sound of preparation, and perhaps this is exactly the moment you are in right now. You've been wondering, Lord, have you forgotten me? Was what I heard one day not real? But I want to tell you something. God hasn't forgotten. In fact, he is about to prove before everyone that what he promised you was not a delusion, not imagination, not madness. It was the truth. You are God's chosen one, and he will prove it through your life. You may not see it yet, you may not feel it, but there is an invisible movement happening right now, in the silence, in the hidden, in the invisible. God is secretly molding you to reveal you publicly, and when he does, no one will be able to deny that it was his hand. God's chosen ones always go through anonymity. They always face deserts. They are always misunderstood. But do you know why? Because God never builds a palace on sand. Before placing you in the place of the promise, he needs to strengthen your heart on the rock of faith. So if everything seems still, if the days are long and the night silent, it's not the end, it's the beginning. What seems like a delay is, in reality, God's time preparing you for the day when he will say, now it's time to show the world who you are. You were chosen not by merit, but by purpose. And that's why the struggle has been so great. Satan doesn't pursue the ordinary, he pursues the called. He doesn't invest energy in those who are empty, but in those who carry something that can change lives. And perhaps you are being attacked not because you are weak, but because the enemy knows what God has placed within you. So, yes, the tears that no one saw, the days when you thought about giving up, the silent prayers before bed, all of that was noted by God. Nothing went unnoticed. And that's why this video reached you today. Because God wants to remind you, he is about to prove his truth through your story. It doesn't matter who doubted you. It doesn't matter who labeled you. It doesn't matter who called you a dreamer, a madman, or said that you won't succeed. God doesn't need anyone to believe in you to fulfill what he promised. He only needs you to continue believing in him. God's truth does not depend on human approval. It flourishes at the right time, even after years of waiting. And when it flourishes, it silences every opposing voice. God will use precisely what hurt you to reveal who he is. The wounds that hurt today will be testimonies tomorrow. The losses that crush you today will be the stage for his glory. And when everything falls into place, you will understand. Every tear had a purpose, every delay had a meaning, and every no from God was in fact a wait. I'm preparing you for something greater. It's no coincidence that you withstood all of this. It's no coincidence that you are still standing. There is a strength in you that comes from above, a strength that is not human, but divine. You are God's chosen one, and therefore he will not let your story end in shame. He will prove his truth in your life, and everyone will see that he is faithful. Have you ever noticed that God rarely reveals the when to you? He shows you the destination, but not the path. He shows you the promise, but he doesn't explain the process. And it is in that interval between what he said and what you haven't yet seen that true faith is born. It is there in the silence, when it seems that nothing makes sense, that God tests your heart, because genuine faith is not proven when everything is going right. Genuine faith is revealed when everything seems lost, and yet you choose to continue believing. And perhaps that's exactly where you are now, in the middle of the journey, between what God promised and what hasn't yet happened. You are no longer where you were, but you haven't yet arrived where you want to be. And it is precisely there, in that space of waiting, that God transforms you. You think you are standing still, but God is shaping you. You think you've wasted time, but he is redirecting every step. Nothing was lost. Nothing was in vain. Everything is part of building something that will glorify his name. When God chooses someone, he doesn't give them a shortcut. He gives them a desert, because it is in the desert that he teaches you to depend only on him. It is in the desert that he silences the voices of the world and speaks directly to your heart. It is in the desert that he takes away everything that doesn't belong to the purpose, pride, fear, haste, and leaves only the essential, faith. The chosen one is not the one who has all the answers. It is the one who, even without understanding, continues to say, "Lord, I trust." It is the one who, even without seeing, continues walking. It is the one who, even wounded, continues praying. Because he knows that the God who promised is faithful to fulfill, even when everything seems contrary. There are people who look at you and think, "He stopped, she gave up." But what they don't know is that, while the world thinks you're standing still, God is working in silence. There are things that God does in secret precisely so that no one steals the glory that belongs to him. And when he decides to show you to the world, it will be in a way that no one can deny. It was God who did it. You are the chosen one, and being chosen is not always comfortable. It means being set apart. It means being molded in private to be used in public. And this process hurts. It hurts because the vessel needs to be broken before it can be used. But the same God who breaks you is the God who remakes you with more beauty, more strength, and more purpose. So don't despise the process. Don't curse the difficult days. They didn't come to destroy you. They came to strengthen you. Every tear you shed is watering the soil where God will make something new flourish. Every loss is pushing you to the center of his will. And every door that closed is directing you to the right door, the one that was designed just for you. You are not being forgotten. You are being refined. Gold is only pure after the fire. The olive tree only releases its oil after being pressed. And faith only matures after the trial. So if the fire is intense, it's because God is purifying you for something glorious. There is a time when God acts in silence, and there is a time when he speaks through what he does. His silence is always the prelude to manifestation. When he seems distant, it's because he is closer than ever, preparing the scene of your victory. God will use what today seems like your end as the beginning of a new season. You will look back and understand that he delivered you from places that didn't match your destiny, people who left, situations that crumbled, doors that closed. All of this was grace disguised as loss. Because God knew if that had continued, it would have taken you away from your purpose. He loves you too much to leave you comfortable in the wrong place. And sometimes, God's love manifests itself in separations, in goodbyes, in painful new beginnings. But it is always love. Love that protects you. Love that guides you. Love that says no to give you the right yes at the perfect time. So if your life seems like a riddle, trust. You are in the hands of the author. And the author never loses control of the story. You may not understand the chapter you are reading now, but the ending, oh, the ending, will be full of God's glory. There is a moment when God decides to act, a moment when the invisible becomes visible, and what was being prepared in silence begins to be revealed before everyone. This moment comes for everyone who perseveres, and when it comes, there is no human force, nor the entire hell that can stop the movement of God. You waited, trusted, cried, and perhaps even thought about giving up. But the time of trial is transforming into a time of testimony. God will use everything that seemed against you to prove that he was always on your side. The same mouths that doubted will bear witness. The same eyes that saw you cry will see the brilliance of the promise fulfilled. The same people who saw you in the valley will see you on the mountaintop, not because you exalted yourself, but because God lifted you up. He will prove his truth through your story. And the most beautiful thing is that he doesn't need a stage, applause, or spotlights to do it. God proves his truth through details, through the healing that no one believed in anymore, through the door that opens when everything seemed over, through the peace that invades your heart when you thought you couldn't bear it anymore. That's how he works, simply yet irresistibly powerfully. God is preparing something so beautiful that when it happens, you will understand why he made you wait so long. You will understand why he needed to remove some people from your path. You will understand why he made you go through situations that at the time seemed unfair. All of this was so that you could be a living witness of his faithfulness. When God decides to prove his truth, he not only changes what is outside, he changes what is inside. He transforms you from within so that the blessing doesn't destroy you. Because God doesn't just want to give you what he promised. He wants to prepare you to sustain what he promised. He doesn't just want to prove his truth before people. He wants you to live that truth fully, with humility, with faith, and with purpose. And that's why, before the exaltation comes the desert. Before recognition comes anonymity. Before the answer comes the silence. But all of this is the prelude to a divine turning point. And that turning point is approaching. A season is coming, and God is saying, now is the time. Time to rise up, time to shine, time to see what I promised manifest itself. You didn't imagine it, but while you were crying, I was writing the most beautiful chapter of your story. While you were praying in tears, I was aligning paths that you couldn't see. And now I will prove before everyone that my word is truth. He will make the improbable happen. He will open doors that time has closed. He will place you in places you would never have reached with your own strength. And when they ask how, you will be able to say, it was God. Your answer will be the testimony of his faithfulness. When God proves his truth through your life, he is not only blessing you, he is revealing himself. He is showing the world that there is still a God who honors those who remain faithful, that there is still a God who transforms broken pieces into vessels of honor, that there is still a God who keeps promises even when everything seems lost. Perhaps you have been discredited, humiliated, forgotten. But remember, God does not forget those who were faithful in little things. And when he comes to exalt you, it will not be to glorify you. It will be so that his name may be glorified through your victory. You will be a reflection of grace. You will be living proof that God is real. And every time someone hears your story, they will feel hope reborn in their hearts. Because what God will do in you will not be small. It will be remarkable. It will be notorious. It will be impossible to ignore. God will transform your pain into a platform. The tears that accompanied you will be the seeds of your harvest. The place where you fell will be the same place where he will lift you up. And your testimony will heal people who are going through the same battles that once hurt you. God does not waste pain. He transforms every wound into a tool, every scar into a message, and every struggle into a mission. You are the chosen one, and he will use your own story as a mirror of his truth. There comes a moment when God says, now. And when that now of God arrives, no force on earth can stop it. No wall remains standing, no lie holds up, no door remains closed, because God's now is the time of manifestation, the time when everything that he has been building in secret begins to shine before everyone's eyes. You waited and you waited with faith. You walked even without understanding. And now God is leading you to the place he has always prepared for you. But understand, this place is not just a physical space, it is a spiritual state. It is the place of maturity, of fullness, of certainty. The place where you not only see the promise, but understand the reason for every tear that brought you here. The time of being tested is ending, and the time of being used is beginning. God will prove his truth through your life, not only by blessing you, but by making you a channel of blessing. What he will place in your hands is not just for you. It is to heal, restore, and inspire others. You will become an answer to prayers that other people have silently prayed. Remember those who hurt you, those who mocked your faith. God will lift you up before them, not to humiliate them, but so that they may see that truth always prevails. The same God who saw you being criticized will see you being honored. And when that happens, you won't feel pride, you will feel gratitude, because you will understand that it was grace, and only grace, that sustained you until now. God is going to turn the pages of your story that the enemy tried to tear out. He will place you in places you never imagined reaching. And when you get there, you will realize that it wasn't luck, it was purpose. It wasn't a coincidence, it was providence. You are living proof that God keeps his promises, and that's why the process was so painful, because great promises require firm foundations. Before giving you the stage, God needed to build your character. Before giving you visibility, he needed to teach you humility. Before giving you influence, he needed to teach you dependence. Because he knew a promise without maturity could destroy you. But now, after everything, you are ready. What is coming will not just be an isolated blessing, it will be a new season. A time when God's favor will accompany you wherever you go. People who never noticed you will start looking for you. Doors that have been locked for years will begin to open naturally, and opportunities that seemed unattainable will begin to align before you. And all of this will not be luck, it will be the fulfillment of the word. Because God promised that he would lift you up, and he is not a man to lie. The world will notice something different in you, not a shine of vanity, but a shine of purpose. People will feel God's presence in your voice, in your attitudes, in your words. You will be like a lighthouse in the midst of darkness, guiding lost lives simply by being who you have become. God will not only prove his truth through your life, he will use your own life as a living testimony of his truth. You will be the verse that many people need to read to believe again. You will be the embrace of hope for those who no longer believed. And all of this, not because you were perfect, but because you remained faithful even when imperfect. The time for crying is ending. The time to see the glory is coming. You will understand that every solitary prayer, every night of anguish, and every silent wait were, in fact, setting the stage for this moment. The moment when God rises up and says before everyone, "This is my son, this is my daughter, and I will prove my truth through their life." Get ready. Heaven is in motion. What once seemed distant is drawing near. You will not only hear about miracles, you will experience one. You will not only see promises fulfilled in the lives of others, you will see your promise fulfilled with your own eyes. And when that happens, you will understand that it wasn't the end of your strength that brought you here, but the beginning of God's strength working in you. Everything that was broken, he will restore. Everything that was lost, he will return in an even better way. And everything that was delayed, he will fulfill in due time with the weight of his glory. And perhaps as you hear these words, your heart is burning, because deep down you know, this message is for you. You know that something is in motion, something that God is silently preparing, but which will soon be revealed with power. You feel that the time of waiting is coming to an end, that the time of weeping is giving way to the time of harvest. And even if fear tries to whisper that it's too late, the Spirit of God is saying right now, there is still time. I am still working. I will still fulfill. God didn't choose you by chance. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. Before you existed, he had already set you apart for a purpose. And however hard the journey has been, what sustains you is not the strength of your hands, but the faithfulness of his hands. Your name has not fallen from God's heart. The promise has not been forgotten. The story is not yet over. And as improbable as it may seem, God is still writing the ending, and it will be an ending full of grace, glory, and testimony. Everything that has happened to you so far has served to form in you something that the world could not give you: resilience, maturity, faith, and dependence. You are no longer the same person who started this journey. Today, you carry scars, but you also carry authority. Today, you understand that it was the pain that brought you closer to God's heart, and that is why, when He lifts you up, no one will be able to say it was luck. Everyone will know it was purpose. God will prove His truth through your life. And when He does that, you will understand something profound, that the most beautiful miracle is not what happens on the outside, but what happens inside you. Because, in the end, God wasn't just taking you to a place. He was transforming you into the person who could inhabit that place. So, don't give up now. You are closer than you think. The heavens are moving, and God is about to surprise you in ways you can't even imagine. You never imagined it. He will show the world that everything He said about you was true, and that His faithfulness has never failed, not even for a single second. Take a deep breath. Calm your heart. The same God who began this good work will complete it. And when you look back, you will see that every tear, every no, every closed door was God's love protecting you, shaping you, and preparing you to live something much greater. You are the chosen one. And God is about to prove His truth through your life. Not because you deserve it, but because He is faithful. Not because you are strong, but because He is powerful. And when everything is fulfilled, His name will be glorified in every detail of your victory. Now, before ending this moment, I want to ask you something very simple, but very important. If this message spoke to your heart, leave a like. This helps this video reach more people who also need to hear what you heard today. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here we share words that strengthen faith, heal the soul, and rekindle hope. And don't leave yet, because God still wants to speak with you. The next video that is appearing on the screen right now brings a message that will continue to touch your heart and show you even more about what God is doing in this time. Watch until the end. I'm sure it will be another step in your walk with Him. May God bless your life powerfully. May the peace that surpasses all understanding invade your heart at this moment. And may you never forget, even in silence, even in waiting, even in pain, you continue to be God's chosen one. Until the next video, and may His presence continue to guide you in every new dawn.